Hey guys, I'm Mark.
I'm Alon.
And welcome to another episode of The Next Man Up. Well, hey listeners, welcome once again to the Next Man Up podcast, where we are about raising up the next generation of men, because we believe that when boys become healthy and godly men, everyone benefits. I am Mark Stanifer, your host, and in the studio with me again is your favorite co-host, Alon Auguste.
Hello.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, man.
How are things with you?
They're going.
They're going.
They're going.
Yes.
How about you, man?
They're going as well.
Oh, all right.
You know, it's a little bit of up and a little bit of down, but you know, it's kind of like the weather outside right now, right? It's subject to change.
Yep.
There are seasons we go through, and
absolutely,
it's just all part of the adventure and the journey and the stuff of life, right?
Yeah.
That just you just know you're living.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir. Absolutely.
Well, before we get to today's topic, I wanted to give you listeners an update. We're so excited about all the work that's going on behind the scenes here at the Next Man Up. And so we continue so that we can continue to grow and reach more dads with this message. And maybe some of you saw it, I don't know, but just last week we debuted our brand new website, thenextmanup.com. Same address, whole new look and feel. And we also changed our social media handles to @NMU Journey. So if you're interested and curious, check out the new site, as well as take a second to follow us at Facebook and Twitter @NMU Journey. And also know this, we're not done. There are more updates coming soon that we'll be able to share with you here and in other places. So stay tuned for that. Okay. This is a post-Super Bowl episode.
Yes.
The Kansas City Chiefs are now the proud champions of Super Bowl 54 trophy.
Congratulations to them.
And soon to have rings on their fingers.
Yes.
But during the lead up to this game, there was a little bit of chatter, and Alana, it caught your attention. And so let's unpack that a little bit today.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not a social media guy. I'm not on there a lot. But, you know, Super Bowl, I was paying attention to Bleacher Report, and one of the big stories of the day, quote unquote, was this exchange between one of the cornerbacks for the Kansas City Chiefs and a cornerback from the San Francisco 49ers. And I was just amazed. I was like, is this news? This is important. And I get it. You know, it's like a boxing match or an MMA match. Like, you know, the trash talking starts and whatnot. But I was just taken back at it that it was like big news. And so you got Richard Sherman firing back at Darrelle Revis, and they are talking like, I guess, intelligent smack to each other. You know, you got Darrelle like Revis like clowning on like Richard's like performance and such, saying that he's like fearful of getting beat in a man-to-man coverage, every snap, every play. The fact that he doesn't travel as a cornerback is lame. Accept the challenge as the best and shut Adams down the entire game. Do it for the game of football. Stop hiding in cover 3 zone. If you're not a football fan, or know much about football, that all might not mean anything to you. But basically, he was downing his performance.
It sounded to me like he was calling him a coward.
Yeah, total, right? And so you're aiming at someone's character.
Yeah.
And I get it. You aim at my character, and then of who I am, and you know, it's like, all right, I'm firing back. And so it comes written out. You know, Sherman is he's notoriously known.
Oh, he chirps
for trash talking. His thing is not trash talking if you back it up.
Right.
And you know, most of the time, he backs it up. And so, you know, it's just what he's pretty much stating what he has done.
Yeah.
And such. And so he fires back, and Claire Sherman responds, and it's like, I would go in on this. has-been. So he calls Darrelle Revis the has-been, but I have a Super Bowl to prepare for. Enjoy the view from the couch. Your ninth year looked a lot different than this. LMAO. And so, of course, Darrelle and Sherman is pretty bright. I think he's got a master's degree in something
interesting
and such. And so, and then he fires another tweet, and it's like, and it's accept. Revis had spelled accept with the E, and he was like, no, you need to spell it with an A. So, quote unquote, it's accept with an A. Thought I would give you a lesson while I was here. And then,
which of course I'm sure went over well. Right? It was received with good intent.
It's back and forth. I'll stab you, you stab me back. Yeah. I pull a gun on you, you pull a bazooka on me. I pull a blowtorch on you. So then Sherman goes again. I have to cover every game, kid. I get my hands on the football in the playoffs. Something you will never know anything about. Darrelle, of course, before that said, my ninth year, I lead the entire league in turnovers. 5 interceptions, 4 fumble recoveries. Enjoy the Super Bowl and strap up because this game will have you this game you will have to cover, with a bunch of smiley faces and whatever. And then Richard pounded that back, and then Rich said, pound for pound, this kid has a selective memory. And then he posts a tweet that Darrelle had just said, all y'all think I'm throwing shade. I'm not. Just stating the man is not a pound for pound man to man cover. If you know the game of football, and then he goes on and on and on. I like just dissing Sherman. And I'm reading this and I'm going, like I said, this is news. Mm-hmm. They're just trying to pump the game, but then I started thinking about it. And I'm like, here are two guys who are really good at their profession. They're great at their profession. And here are two guys who, look, football is, people say baseball is the American sport. Let's just be honest. Football is the American sport. That's an argument that can be strongly made.
Yep.
And so you have a lot of people like watching these games and holding these guys up on godlike pedestals and such, whether they want to or not. I know Charles Barkley back in the day was just like, I'm not a role model. And like, well, you can say that. I could say I'm not wearing clothes, but if I'm wearing clothes, I'm wearing clothes.
Right.
You're a role model. Whether you want to be or not. And if people model their lives like after you, and so these two are guys that people model their lives after, and more importantly, these are two guys that young people model their lives after. And here they are, like just ripping each other. Instead of like going in on what is good, it was, I'm going to go in on what is horrible about you. I'm going to exploit you. I'm going to stab your character to death.
I'm going to attack you.
And I was like, man, there's something wrong with that. Isn't that a good view of America? Isn't that a good view of the United States and how we do things, of who we are?
You mean like representative of what's happening today?
Yeah, today it is. That's a great word. It's a great representation of how we deal with each other. Here, at least, I don't know about any other country, but I'm talking like right here. Like I see it a lot. We deal with each other in this way. Mm-hmm. There's no come to the table and be like, I have an issue with you, and I want to talk about it with you. It's, I'm going to take to social media and I am going to just vomit all that I'm thinking out there. Whether it's intelligently thought or not, I'm going to throw it up out there and not really thinking about the consequences of what I am saying or doing and posting out there for the world to see.
Yeah.
And to model after. Yep. Because that's what's happening.
Yep.
I work in a public school, and I'm telling you, trash talking it's number one. Like someone even halfway looks like they're attempting to devalue you. You will spring into action and devalue them first or bigger, and there's no win at that, right? there's definitely no win. There's no sense of like, I got you. Well, you could get him or her like that second, that moment, but better believe they're coming back for you. And now you just made an enemy.
Yep.
Now you got to have eyes on the back of your head, you know, because you never know where it's coming from and such. And like I said before, it's I knife you, you shoot me, I blow you up, you napalm me, I nuclear you.
It just gets bigger and bigger
and bigger. It gets worse and worse. And so, I don't know, that struck me, and I thought that might be something to chat about.
So in all that, so that's just one example, right?
Yeah.
We could have found a bunch of other ones, but that's the one that popped out in the moment.
In the moment.
This is representative. What I hear is a couple of things. One, as we talked about, attacking people, attacking their character, but doing it in a bit of a cowardly way.
Yeah.
Or calling somebody else a coward in that attack, right? I also hear the thing that continues to plague men in particular, and that is, I make myself better by putting you down.
Yeah.
Or my story is better than your story, blah, blah, blah.
More. It's
worth more,
yeah.
right? Like I have to upstage you in order to make myself feel better or to validate myself. And I get that validation by putting you down. Whether that's in the schoolyard in 6th grade or on the gridiron when you're 30, 35, like you've been in this space for a long time. You're not a rookie, Sherman, right?
Yeah.
And he, of course, is notorious for this type of clatter. But it's that seeking to build yourself up, to validate yourself by putting somebody else down. Mm-hmm. And man, like it's just so short-sighted.
It is. And it's interesting that you said that these are like things that men struggle with all the time, because it's so true.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, when I think about like helping young people, in this case, like young boys, when I think about helping them, like this is one of the biggest hurdles to jump over. Like what's really being said, honestly, when we treat each other this way is I am insecure.
Bingo.
I am insecure.
Bingo.
You know, actually, I'm actually kind of feeling the pain of what you're saying, because I feel like there's truth to what you're saying. And that friends, I think that's where we should start. As I think we need to see the truth behind like the facade of I'm macho, I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm better. I am God and you are merely mortal. Like facade that gets thrown up with our firebacks is what are we really feeling right in that moment when someone attacks us in that way? You know, like, look, I get called every name in a book when I'm at school. Like,
probably something you've never even heard of, too, right?
It's like, I have to go
Wait, was that an insult?
What do you mean by that? Like, are you serious? And it's like, oh. like I get called every name in a book. People have attacked my character, you know, as you're working with students and you do something across them, you might find that they will all of a sudden just attack you, calling you a liar, calling you stupid, calling you dumb, saying they hate you and whatever. And what I've learned to do is when I feel like it's one of those like arrows has hit me, I need to pay attention to that and not fire back, because like me firing back is probably out of response of my anger and frustration and hurt. And so something's going on with me. It's not you. You got your own stuff to deal with. But me as a man, I have things to deal with. Like, why is that hurting me so much what a 12-year-old boy is saying about me? Why? Who cares? Evidently I care. Inevitably, there's something going on in me that I need to deal with. And it's in those moments, I think, that when we're really willing to pay attention to the truth that hurts, like we need to step back and go, okay, I need to deal with this one thing inside of me, and I need to go to work now, or else I'm not going to be able to be the man that I am looking to be. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be able to be the man that I am. You know, if I allow this thing to continue to like fester and get all crazy and maniacal. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense?
Yeah. So back up a second, because I think you're hitting on something that could be really, really big and powerful. And I want to just recap what you said. So in your situation, as a 40-something adult man, you've got a teenager that is insulting you, and you take offense. But before going any further, you step back and say, okay, why am I taking offense to something that a teenager... Why am I reacting?
Yeah.
I think what you just did is put words to something that many men, dare I say most men, can't even put words to. Why do I feel this surge of adrenaline or desire to react and to put that other person down, or more generically, to defend myself that that's not true?
Yeah.
Which comes back to this sense of I'm feeling insecure. And why am I feeling insecure? In many cases, in this situation that we've talked about with Sherman and Rivas, maybe in your situations, name the situation, I think a lot of it comes back to I am not secure in who I am as a man.
Yes.
And then in the bigger picture, who I am as a son of the Heavenly Father, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But in our humanity, I'm insecure in who I am as a man. My manhood was just threatened and challenged, and I need to defend it.
And we're taught, we're taught at a very young age, starting at a very young age, and on through our years, within the culture that we live, on how to respond to those feelings. Like we're taught that when you feel that you're being your manhood, you are being like threatened, you respond with talk back.
Yeah.
You respond with hit back.
Yep.
You respond with you throw a boulder at me, I'm throwing a boulder at you.
Yep.
And it's like, we as adults, we look at the younger generation and we go, why don't you just act right? And why don't you just, that's so dumb. Who cares? And it's like, no, we've been taught to care about that. And we've been taught to respond in certain ways to that. And how can you blame us? How can you blame us and point the finger at us when we decide to respond in a violent way or respond with words that are like, who are you? This isn't who you are. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But this is what's been formed in our brain and patterned in our brain over and over again to roll out with when we feel threatened.
It is taking the playground exchange from back in middle school, elementary, high school, and continuing it on into adult life. I spent countless hours in conference rooms, boardrooms at the corporate level, and I watched grown adult males posture like the animals that you see in the wild kingdom.
Yeah.
Circling around each other to be the smartest guy in the room, to get the attention of the boss, to get the attention and the accolades of everybody else in the room, to have the best presentation. They were posturing, just like people do on the playground back in middle school. Yeah. They were attacking each other. They were undermining. Now, it was a little more civilized.
But the underlying
issue was still the same.
Still the same. And then, it can swing the other way too, right? It can swing the other way in the sense of we lay down, we do nothing. We allow ourselves to be abused.
Yep.
We allow ourselves to be tortured. And because that's the way that we've been taught to react.
Isn't that still insecurity?
It's still insecurity.
And devaluing yourself because you don't really know who you are.
Yeah. And so, like, my brain automatically goes to, there has to be a better way. That's really it. I start thinking, what is a better way to respond when someone attacks you and such? You know, I think about, like, there's silence, I think. Mm-hmm. You know, and those are the ones that I really, I'm intrigued by, is the men who are able to hear someone attack them and go, whatever, and just walk away. I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking either you're pulling a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in Central Intelligence and you're just pushing it way down deep, or you are so secure in yourself when someone shoots off a lie, or even if someone shoots off a fact about you, you're okay in who you are.
Yeah, that
and
quiet
you just go,
confidence.
I'm good. Mm-hmm. It's the Mr. Miyagi with, like, the dude in front of his face, and he's like, no. Mm-hmm. I'm not even gonna say you're weak or you stink or you suck. I'm just gonna be like, no, this is not who I am.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna fall for that.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. It's really hard to do, but I challenge myself and I challenge those who I'm connected with. Like, I challenge those listening to try that. Like, and if you can't do that, then maybe there's something of insecurity inside of you that you need to deal with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And there's another sense too, like, I like working with students, and they always look at me sideways like a puppy dog hearing a strange sound, man, when I say this. It's like, you know, so what happened? Well, you know, he threw his lunch at me. And what'd you do? I got up and I punched him in the mouth. Okay, I get it. So him throwing his lunch at you is not cool because it devalues you, right? It says that you're not worth anything, right? Yeah, it's not cool. Okay, he disrespected me. I get that. I understand. It's totally wrong. And we're going to talk to him about that. And hopefully he can stand up and be a good human being and make things right with you. But what about the way that you reacted? Do you think that there was something off in the way that you reacted? No. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like,
I was justified.
I did what this is what I'm taught. I'm like, okay, I get that. Can you tell me a different way that is not including you punching him in the mouth? That you could have handled that. What you just want me to walk away? Not saying that. Because I know what that means to you. Walking away means you're weak. Walking away means that that he won and that you lost. But what about something else? And they always scramble their brains, and there's a moment where, like, if they keep thinking their heads are going to explode, I'm like, how about this healthy way? How about you stand up? How about you look that person in the eye? And how about if you say, don't do that ever again? And then walk away and get support from a teacher. What do you think that's going to say to that person? That's going to say that I'm weak. I'm like, no. Like, I'm throwing you a way that you can, in a healthy way, stand up confident in who you are.
Yep.
Stand up confident in the person that you have become, and be able to look someone in the eye and tell them that through your words. To tell them that, like, you throwing food at me is not cool. And I don't ever want you to do that again. And then going and getting support from someone who can help you in a healthy way deal with that situation, that is better for you than for you to go socking someone in the mouth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I know there's probably a lot of dads out there probably thinking, like, nah, man, I told my kid, you gotta have self-defense. And I get that. I mean, when someone's throwing punches at you and whatever, I understand that you need to have, like, some sense of, like, blocking and trying to evade and whatnot. But I'm talking about full on going, you devalued me and I'm going to devalue you. Isn't that teaching our kids to do the exact same thing that they're upset about?
Yeah.
What about if there's a different way?
What if there's a different way?
You know what I mean? To be able to stand up strong and be confident and let somebody know that you are worth something.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And for them to be able to stop what they're doing. you know? And like, it's funny, but the kids who actually get it, the kids who actually have actually tried this, especially I know we're talking about young men, but especially the female students that I've told, like when some boy is putting their hands on them that they don't want, or they're like people are bullying them or whatever, it's quite interesting when the light bulb goes off and they do that. And then they watch the other person get in trouble and they remain safe. They're like, Mr. Alon, I did it. And I felt strong. And I'm like, yeah, but that's a small way I think that we can start, at least with our young friends.
Yep.
You know what I mean? A small way that we can start helping them to continue to grow confidence in themselves and to display that confidence without being a raging bull.
Yeah. No, that's good. I was just going back to the sports analogy. It's always the retaliation that gets caught, right?
Oh, yeah.
The retaliator always gets the flag. I was also thinking for dads to give kids, boys, language that will help them to deal with that emotion. Because that emotion of you've insulted me, or you've insulted my mom, or whatever, right? I have been offended. That automatically comes with an emotional response. But can we give boys language to not act out that emotional response, to acknowledge it, to feel it, not just stuff it away, or not justify, well, because he insulted me, I can insult him. To feel it, acknowledge it, but act in a different way. Choose a different course. Maybe it's silence. Maybe it's just walking away. Maybe it's to be like, don't ever do that again. Or who knows what it is, but have that conversation with our boys. Give them a tool to use other than what we see so often, which is to just clap back.
Clap back, right? And also to give what we're really seeking is justice, where we want the right thing to happen when wrong things have happened to us, right? We want a chance for things to be put right for us. And what I'm pressing to instill with students is that there is that chance, but maybe that chance in the state that you are in right now because of what just happened to you shouldn't happen right now.
Yeah.
A conversation about what was done wrong to you, how it made you feel, and what you need from the other person to have peace probably can't happen when you're at a 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
What happened? Yeah, mate. Like, okay, I'm angry. Okay, and
Here
like,
comes the Hulk.
And like, what do you need? I need that person to die. It's like, look, that conversation should not be happening right now.
Yep.
It just should not.
Yep.
But when you walk away, when you're able to stand up for yourself in a healthy way, walk away. Breathe, calm down, whatever you do to calm down. And I've talked to students and they do tons of different things, from listening to music to taking a run, lots of different things, but be able to calm down, talk it through with someone wiser than you, and be able to come back with that person and say, hey, when you did this, I want to let you know, this is what it made me feel like. This is what it said to me. There's a sense that you don't care about this human being standing in front of you, but I need you to care. And so you need to make this right, and this is how you can make it right with me. I mean, that doesn't happen in our society a lot today. But what if it started to?
What if?
That's the question, right?
Right.
So the answer to, is there a better way? Well, there's one.
Yep.
There's one, but we got to try it and we got to put it to work.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, I know I went on a rant there.
No, it's good. I look at some of this as like the artificial substitute, or it looks and kind of tastes like justice or you're getting back, but it's not the real thing.
No.
It's not as good as it could be. So, as we often do, and try to live ourselves, believe me, right? Listeners, you may not know us, but we hold ourselves to these same standards that we're talking about here, it's living to a higher standard, setting a better example, and passing that on to the next generation that's coming behind.
Yeah.
Because there's so much message out there. There's so much confusion out there. Lots of people will tell you, your son, the world, how to react, or they'll show you how to react. But much of it just leaves us wanting more. It just doesn't set the bar high enough. And so, we're advocating a harder but better way.
Better way. One more thing, Mark. I think it's important that we teach our boys to know the truth about themselves. Like here is one football athlete who's really good at what he does, and another football athlete who's really good at what he does, and they are ripping each other's performances apart.
Yep.
And one trap I think that happens here that we tend to fall into, and we have to teach our boys not to fall into, is to believe all the words that are coming out of someone else's mouth. Like when someone calls you stupid, like I want to press the question, well, am I really stupid? Am I really stupid?
Yeah.
The answer comes up no.
Yeah.
And so it also, when that happens, it helps our boys, if we teach them that, it helps them to all of a sudden drop from a 10 maybe down to a 7.
Yep.
And to be able actually that's not true. Like when one thing students, when a student calls a kid, they say out their name, and what they're saying is that person called them the B word. And so it's like, well, really, are you that? Are you a female dog? Are you? No, I'm not. Oh, so there's no truth in what this person is saying. Right. And like when a student believes that, when a young person believes what someone else is saying about them, that's a problem. That's scary. That's messing with the person's identity.
Yep.
But if we can build up their identity up and we can help them to hold on to what is true, we'll see less reactions like we're seeing it through this Twitter match of verbal destruction, and such. And so I would press that too as well, dads.
So dads, what are you hearing? What are you taking away? What questions are you pondering as you listen to this? How can you apply some of this in your own life, and then use examples like Sherman and Rivas that happen all around us as ways to engage your son in reacting to things like this in a better way, helping him to move past insecurity, giving him confidence in who he is, his identity as a human, his identity as a man, and helping him to grow up to be the man that he was created to be. That's the challenge. That's the question. That's the idea that we'll leave you with this one. Dude, good thoughts, as always.
You too, man.
Appreciate you bringing your experience to bear. And until next time.
Adios.
Adios. Hey, listeners, thanks for journeying with us on this Next Man Up podcast. We would love to hear from you. Maybe you have a question or an idea, perhaps a topic for us to consider. If that's you and you want to reach out to us, you can get us at feedback@thenextmanup.com. That's feedback@thenextmanup.com. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, we'll see you later.